As we all know, we're very concerned about our wonderful King, His Majesty the King, King Charles III. And of course, when you think about it, he's going through some incredible stressful times, all the while out there in public. And of course, like myself, I'm sure many people will be thrilled to hear and see that he will be attending, of course, the forthcoming Easter service this coming weekend, alongside other senior members of the British monarchy. But it's fascinating to find these particular stories out because, as I've told you before, His Majesty the King is incredibly a sensitive man. You know, likes to keep the peace, doesn't necessarily like any confrontation, and wants to sail through life hoping that everybody simply can get on. But as we all know in this world, it doesn't always work out this particular way. But there was one situation that really thoroughly upset His Majesty the King from his youngest son, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you here in the very heart of London, Westminster Tube Station, as we zip around doing all other works, including reporting on the disasters, sadly, of the world, and more importantly, the political world that nobody can escape from right now, whether you're struggling in a cost of living crisis or simply trying to keep up with whatever new legislation comes out your way every single day. Today it's pensions. Well, I mean, you're lucky if you've got one, aren't you? Let's be honest. Back as ever, though, to your royal story of the day. Now, as I say, this picture really triggered some upsetting, thoughts for His Majesty the King, as one can imagine. This is the now infamous picture from Prince Harry taken inside the Windsor suite at Heathrow Hotel on that now flight where he claimed he was on the Freedom flight. Now, we all laughed, did we not? Because Freedom flight from what exactly? What was he flying from? You know, what was the big problem? He'd had a cosseted lifestyle, been looked after, afforded such wealth, nice places to live, security, and of course the loving bosom of a big family, including Catherine, William, and of course so many other siblings around him. According to that source, what really offended King Charles, as one can imagine, is exactly why he decided to call it that. He'd been more than open, more than supportive, and as what we found out, of course, later on in the Oprah Winfrey interview, had financially supported his son as well. According to a very well-placed source, His Majesty the King took a long time to process this rather cruel gesture from his youngest son and didn't, even to this day, understand exactly what Harry was running away from. They'd had an open discussion. Obviously, Her Majesty the Queen had said what she wanted to say, and Prince Charles, as I said, doesn't like confrontation, but thoroughly agreed that the bottom line was it was his chance to go and redefine himself, decide where he wanted to be. Mention this story again is apparently this was obviously now back in the news, all thanks to the launch of Meghan's American brand, the anniversary of the Freedom flight. And this apparently, according to a well-placed source, has upset His Majesty the King once again. Seemingly Harry, Meghan, and of course the team around them have no idea about sensitivities, given the fact that His Majesty is battling a very serious health condition. And wouldn't it be nice, in fact, that if Harry could return back to the United Kingdom to see his father privately without dashing over to talk to some broadcaster like GMA the moment he landed back into the United States? One has to feel sorry for His Majesty the King. Seemingly he's done the very best for his youngest son, but seemingly it's not enough. Neil Sean, Westminster Tube Station, in the very heart of London.